Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is my review on Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. And this film is about a man who's an alcoholic, gets in a car accident and becomes paralyzed from the waist down, and winds up in a wheelchair, and he's going to AA, trying to figure out his alcoholism, but also finding cartoons, and drawing cartoons is something that brings him joy and is an outlet for him. And this is a true story about a famous cartoonist, and it's starring Joaquin Phoenix, Jack Black, and Jonah Hill. And the first thing I'm definitely going to talk about is Joaquin Phoenix, who I think is very, very strong in this film. He really sells this role, and he sells like the quirky kind of humor about the character and like the emotional moments of him dealing with the fact that he's dealing with some heavy things, being paralyzed and dealing with alcoholism. And I feel like he really carries this film, honestly. And in terms of some of the other supporting cast, I thought Jonah Hill was really good in this film, and he had one particular scene where he really got to show his chops. And Jack Black, I think, was fun in his role. There's a sequence where it's like them getting really drunk together and stuff like that, and he sold that, but also sold a particular emotional moment later in the film as well. I think they did a great job with the storytelling, as it was nonlinear and it's bouncing back and forth between particular moments in this man's life, and you don't always know what the narrative perspective is on what the story is being told. And I thought that was interesting, and it was a unique twist on this film. And I liked when you found out how this was being told, and it was a cute reveal that's like, oh, okay, that's interesting how this film has been portrayed throughout this. And I really think it was a unique vision. There's a few things that I really liked, including some of his cartoons would come to life and you would watch the cartoons in motion, and some of them were quite hilarious. Some of them were a little awkward, but so was the character. And I was actually really surprised by Gus Van Sant, the writer and director of this film, because I think he really constructed an interesting story with some great characters, and also had a great hold on the story in terms of emotional impact and storytelling. And Gus Van Sant can be very hit or miss for me. This is the guy that remade Psycho for no reason, but also the man who made Good Will Hunting. So I did really appreciate what Gus Van Sant did with this film. And like, as I mentioned before, with the animation, I think that was really cool, little added thing into this film. And Danny Elfman's score, I think, was very, very good. And it's Danny Elfman, so he's going to show up and he's going to do his best and make a score that really fits the film and hits the emotional moments when it needs to. And then Christopher Lovett, who is the cinematographer for this is a very well shot film, and it uses a good camera movements throughout, and the way that it's put together in terms of dealing with like the interactions between characters, and it uses a lot of close-up shots of characters' faces, really trying to sell the emotion going on in their performances. And overall, I think this was a really well put together film. There are some moments that I felt like were a little slow, but overall I really enjoyed it. And one particular thing that stuck out to me that I wasn't the biggest fan of, I felt that Rooney Mara's character really didn't have a whole lot of depth, and she kind of was just like, hey, I'm a love interest, gonna pop in ever so often throughout the film, and I'm there. And I feel like she didn't get a whole lot to do, so it's kind of wasted on her talents. But overall, I think this is a really good film. If you get a chance to check this out, it is a smaller film, so it's only going to be playing at like smaller theaters, some AMCs that have independent screenings for a lot of the smaller films. Please go check this out. I think it's really worthwhile, and probably by the end of the year, I think Joaquin Phoenix is either going to be getting attention for awards consideration for this film, or was he really even there? And I think this has been a great year for him. So please go check out this film, and recommended by your Wasteland reviewer.